What's up, all my fellow hunters, nerds, and geeks, and everyone watching this on YouTube? It's Maniac the Geek here, back with another video. So today is Friday, September 28th. No, Friday, September 29th, sorry. Didn't even know what day it was. Friday, September 29th. Right now, the first video I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to go over my recent pickups from the comic book shop for this recent past Wednesday, and then I'm going to go over some books I picked up last weekend, which was the unofficial Batman Day. So I didn't go over the books that I got for Batman Day. I told you guys in the last video I did that that day that I did it, it was Batman Day. So I did end up going to a couple of shops and getting some things. So I'm going to start off with the books that I did pick up this past Wednesday, and then after I'm done with those, I'm going to go over the books that I picked up for Batman Day, which was last week. So the first book I picked up this past Wednesday for New Comic Book Day is Dark Knight's Batman: The Murder Machine. So this is a Dark Knight's Metal tie-in. I believe this has to do with the cyborg version of the Batman. They already had the Red Death, which was the Flash version, so this is the cyborg version. So that's cool. I definitely got to read that. I got Action Comics 988. This is the 3D lenticular version. I don't know if you guys can see that on the video, but it changes. But this is the Oz Effect Part 2. So this is the story with Mr. Oz, who's been holding Red Robin, Tim Drake, and Doomsday, and a few other people. And this is Superman investigating and stuff like that. I don't really want to ruin the spoiler, but if you guys have already read the Part 1, then you know who Mr. Oz is. So definitely got to check that out. I read Part 1. It's pretty cool. The last DC book I got was Detective Comics 965. This is called A Lonely Place of Living Part 1. So I haven't read this book yet, but what I found out about it is this is the story of how Red Robin, Tim Drake, escapes from the prison that he's being held in by Mr. Oz. So this is the story that tells you what's going on. So for my Marvel books, I got, obviously this week was really big week for Marvel, even though Marvel's kind of been down in the dumps lately with comic book people and everything like that. This was a big week for them. This is their new relaunch of Marvel Legacy. So this is Marvel Legacy #1. This is a one-shot. It's not going to be a continuation series, I don't believe. I mean, they may continue it later on, but this is just a one-shot right now. Basically, this is just a vignette of different small stories with characters, kind of catching you up to where people have been and what's going on. And this also introduces the Avengers of 1,000,000 BC. So you have the Avengers from 1,000,000 years ago. They have a little short story in here, and then you have other little short stories with other various Marvel characters. And this is basically setting up the Marvel Legacy imprint and the new thing they're doing at Marvel. And even though it wasn't spectacular, it was pretty good, and I liked really liked the Avengers of 1,000,000 BC. I liked the Loki story in here. I liked a lot of stuff in here, and there's a couple of characters that make their triumphant return. I'm not going to spoil who, but it's a couple of big name characters make their return to Marvel Comics, so that's pretty cool. So I got that one. That's the 3D version too. I don't know if you guys can tell on the video. It's the lenticular. They don't have a different image, but it's like the 3D lenticular version. I got that. I got the variant edition, and I got just the regular Marvel Legacy #1. I'm not huge on Marvel doing new imprints, but if this does become something, I want to have as many covers as I can get. So next up, I got Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, again, #5. This is 5 of 5, so this one is officially done. I haven't read any of these yet, but I've heard some good things and some bad things. I'm a big Deadpool fan, so I definitely got to check this out, but I have all 5 issues. Next up is Venom Verse #4. I believe this is 4 of 5, just like the Deadpool. It's just a 5-issue miniseries. I haven't read any of these, but this is the last big event that Marvel was doing before Legacy officially launches. even though these books are coming out when the Legacy books come out, the first batch of them don't come out until November, I think. So I think this should be done by then. So next up, I got Star Wars Mace Windu #2. I need to read both of these. I have the first issue in this one. I love this cover because not only does it have Mace Windu on it, who's one of my favorite Jedi and Star Wars characters, but it has probably my favorite Star Wars character of all time in Kit Fisto, Jedi Master Kit Fisto on the cover. So obviously he plays a part in this story, and I can't wait to figure out what it is. I've always loved the character. I loved him from episode 1. I believe he was in maybe a scene or two in episode 1, but he had a big part in episode 2, and then obviously his demise in episode 3. But he's a really cool character, and I'm really psyched to see what's going on with him. So next up, I got XMen Blue #12. Last week they had XMen Gold, so this is XMen Blue. This looks like, is that Mr. Sinister's daughter? Or is she the new Mrs. Sinister or something like that? She's got the same triangle, red triangle on her forehead. So yeah, I really been digging the XMen Blue and XMen Gold. I like them splitting up the teams and having different stories. I wish, like I said, I wish they were both in the same line of issues. I just wish one issue was blue and one issue was gold, every other alternating. That way you can kind of keep up. You don't have to keep buying 2 issues. You can just buy 1 issue. So next up, I got Generations #1, SpiderMan and Miles Morales. This is the variant cover. I believe I got the regular one last week, but this is the variant cover. So, and then I got Generations #1, Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers. So these are the 2 Captain Americas. I like these little short stories. I like these little stories when they're combining them together. I got Astonishing XMen #3. This was the only copy they had left after I got off work and I was able to go to my shop on Wednesday. This looks like it's got something to do with Bishop. It looks like Bishop on the cover. You can tell with the M on his eye for when he was branded a mutant in the future. And the last Marvel book I got was Mighty Thor #23. So this is Mighty Thor #23. Yeah, this is really cool. I like this story of the new War Thor. If you guys don't know who the new War Thor is, he's one of the Warriors 3 that was with Thor. I forget his name. Volstagg, I think his name is. And then last up, I got Redneck #6. So I've only read the first issue of this. I haven't read the latest issue, or I haven't read the latest issues. Sorry, but I only read the first issue, but I have all 6 issues so far, so I got to catch up on those. So those were all the books that I picked up this past Wednesday. So last week was Batman Day. I'm not sure exactly what it had to do with Batman. I don't know if it was like his unofficial birthday in the comics or something big that happened with him in the comics. I'm not sure why they made it last Saturday. But anyway, last Saturday was Batman Day. So I went to a couple of my local comic shops and I got some Batman books. So you might see the price stickers in the corner of the books. I didn't pay anything like that. I paid less than half. Everything was over 50% off. So I got a couple of these books at a new shop that I've been going to. So I got Batman #404, and this is Batman Year 1 Part 1. So this is the Frank Miller story where he retcons Batman's origin, and this book is basically the template that Christopher Nolan used for the Batman Begins movies with the origin story and the backstory and stuff like that. It was basically this template, and for the most part, any modern movie that's doing Batman is pretty much using this storyline. They might change a couple of things, you know, New 52, stuff like that, but they're pretty much using that storyline. So I was able to get that one. I was able to get Batman #442. This is the first appearance of Tim Drake as Robin. So this isn't the first appearance of Tim Drake. This is the first appearance of him as Robin. So this is the first official appearance of him as Robin in the Robin costume. Tim Drake is the third official Robin after Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. So after Dick Grayson became Nightwing and Jason Todd was killed, Tim Drake was the third official Robin, and he's still on Batman's team as Red Robin today. So another book that I picked up that doesn't really have anything to do with Batman, well, it kind of does, depending on who you ask, but I was really, really psyched to get this, and even though it wasn't a Batman book, he did give it to me for less than half off, is Superman the Man of Steel, number 18. So this is the first official appearance of Doomsday. So slowly I've been trying to collect what people would call Grail comics or first appearances, and certain ones just never going to get. First appearance Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, probably never have those in my lifetime. I've held the first appearance of the X-Men, X-Men number 1, but I probably won't ever own it. But this is definitely one of the characters that I would have loved to have the first appearance of, and now I do. So this is Superman, number 18, first appearance of Doomsday. So this storyline continues on through a couple of other comics, and this obviously culminates in Superman 75 with Doomsday and Superman fighting each other and then killing each other, and that was the Death of Superman storyline. So that's really cool to have. Another book that I picked up is XMen number 87. So this is a reprint of X-Men 39. I'm not sure why they were doing reprints, but I guess they just didn't have any stories, so they decided to go back to a reprint. But back then, I guess they can kind of get away with it. Nowadays, they'd probably get yelled at by a bunch of people. But the cool thing with this issue is this is the first issue with the new costumes for the X-Men. So as you can see on the cover, Cyclops has his famous blue costume. This is also, I believe this is the issue, I'm not sure, that Iceman kind of like forms his more ice self, or he, becomes, because he used to look like a snowman in the very beginning. And then Angel's got his costume, Beast has got his, and then Marvel Girls, she's got her little green skirt and stuff like that. So that was really cool that I was able to pick that up. And once again, less than half of what it was on the cover, so you can't beat that. These books are actually really important to me. And I was able to pick them up, and I was really happy that I was able to. This is Ultimate X-Men number 1. So if you guys don't know, I think it was 2000. I think the year 2000 was the year that the Ultimate Universe started. So one of the smarter things that Marvel ever did, in my opinion, in their lifetime was in the late 90s, early 2000s, they created a whole new universe and a whole new storylines for certain characters, and they called it the Ultimate Universe. And what their aim was to bring in young readers, who at the time was me, because in 2000 I was 13 years old, so I was like the target audience. They wanted to bring in readers who didn't grow up reading the original X-Men books and Spider-Man books and stuff like that, and they wanted to give them new stories and stuff like that, and new number 1s. So they created the Ultimate Universe, and what they basically did is they created new storylines that were slightly similar but a little off and a little changed to make younger viewers want to go into comic shops and buy them, so they could have new number 1s and say that they have the first issue of the new X-Men book and stuff like that. And they created, it was everything. It was the Avengers, it was X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. It was everybody. I mean, basically they just took the same characters from the regular universe and they just created new stories for the characters, new origins, new characters, new, combining certain characters with other characters to create another character, and they just had new things happening. And it was going along right with the main story. So you could buy an Amazing Spider-Man 500 or 400 or whatever they were up to that point, and you could buy Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. So that was really cool, and I remember having that book as a kid, and then I ended up either selling it or losing it or something like that. So that was Ultimate X-Men number 1. This book is Ultimate Spider-Man number 80, and this is the first appearance, I believe, of Ultimate Moon Knight. So that's Moon Knight right there, and then that's Spider-Man. So Moon Knight's one of my favorite characters. He's one of my top 5 favorite characters of all time. I just love that he's like Marvel's version of Batman. And this was his first appearance in the Ultimate Universe. And he didn't last very long in the Ultimate Universe. I believe he was in a few issues of this and maybe a few issues of something else. I'm not sure, but That was, I believe this is his first official appearance in the Ultimate Universe. And then I got issue 83. So I got issue 83. So he's just on the cover of this issue. I didn't get 81 or 82. I don't know if he's in those or not, but yeah, I got that. The next book I got is What If number 39, and this is What If the Mighty Thor Battled Conan the Barbarian. So this is really cool. I'm a huge Conan fan, and I'm a huge Thor fan, and they kind of fit together with their kind of personalities. Him being Asgardian and Old Norse mythology, and then Conan being, you know, a barbarian. They kind of fit together, so it makes sense to do a comic. And if you guys don't know what If is, What If is just a series of books that's just basically just people asking, what if these things happen? These things are not continuity in any way. Sometimes certain things happen that get brought into the continuity from the What If, but mostly these are just thrown in there, and the watcher, is basically the person that sets these things up. He's basically just like wondering, what if these things happened, how would they play out? And he sets these things up, and then it just goes back to normal. So that was What If number 39. And the last book I got at one of the comic shops I went to is Weapon X number 1. This is the Age of Apocalypse tie-in. So the Age of Apocalypse is an alternate reality where Apocalypse took over the Earth, and the X-Men were not the same X-Men that you know and love and everything. And this is Wolverine, who's not called Wolverine or Logan. He's just called Weapon X. He's actually missing his, what would that be? His left hand. He's actually missing his left hand. And yeah, this is kind of what they used for the X-Men Apocalypse movie. They obviously didn't take everything and didn't use the best parts, but this is definitely where they got some of the ideas from. And then at my local comic shop, they didn't have much because, you know, they were really busy. I got Batman 41. I believe this is from the New 52. And this is with the Bat Mech robot. So that was really cool. I got, I don't even really know what issue this is. It just says the Batman from Cowl to Scowl. And this is the covers where they were doing famous movies. They were swiping from famous movies. So this is obviously from The Mask with Jim Carrey. This is the Joker on it. So I'm not sure what issue this is. Technically, I have to open up the thing and see what it says in there. But I like that it was the issue with the Mask cover on there, from the poster from The Mask. And then the last thing I got from my local comic shop is Batman number 608 special edition. So this is Batman 608. This is during the Hush storyline that happened, I want to say, 2001. So it's been a while, but this is a really famous Jim Lee cover. So if you don't know who Jim Lee is, he's a really, really famous artist. He started off, I believe, at Marvel, created his own comic thing, Image. I believe it was Image. And then he went to DC, and he's been with DC pretty much ever since. And he really, you know, steps in there to do like the big name covers and big name issues and stuff like that. And he's like their ace in the hole, A+ #1 hitter. So this is Batman 608. And I believe the regular 608 is the really famous picture of Batman just standing on the gargoyle with Gotham City in the background. And then they have the Superman issue that was like the mirror image and Superman standing with Metropolis. And this is I don't know if this is considered a variant cover or if this was just an issue or another cover that came out later, but this is the 608 special edition with Batman flying through the air and kicking. So yeah, that was my last book that I picked up for Batman Day. So those are my books that I picked up this week, and those are my books from Batman Day. Pretty good, not a bad week at all. I'm glad Marvel Legacy's kicking off, and can't wait to see what's going on with that. I'm really happy with all the first appearance books that I got. So it was a pretty good week for me. So that's the end of my video right now. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more of these videos. Thinking about doing this every week. I do toys, I do video games, I do movie reviews, I do everything. So I'm trying to, like I said in my last video, I'm trying to broaden my channel and kind of, you know, include stuff that's not just toys and stuff like that. So if you guys like it, like I said, please like and subscribe, and you know, leave me some comments telling me how, you know, what you thought of the books, if you read Legacy, if you got Legacy, if you have any questions or anything you want to you know, let me know about if I got wrong, or tell me what's going on with some of these books. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. So until next time, I'm Maniac the Geek, and like I always say, good luck and good hunting, and keep reading comics, guys. We all love comics, and we got to keep it going. All right, I will see you guys next time.